This is the Loco by Butter Pickleball. It could be named the best paddle of 2025, but can an intermediate player handle this beauty? Let's find out. Hey everyone, it's the Pickleball Dad here with a review of the Butter Loco. Now, before we get into the specifics of the paddle, let's talk a little bit about cost. If we think about the Gen 4 foam core paddles on the market, you have some of these paddles like the V-Sole and the Quanta. Those are closer to the $100 mark. And then you have the likes of the Boomstick, which is over $300. And the Loco is right in between at $200. Now, you can use a coupon code to save yourself $20. I don't have my affiliate link just yet with Butter, so feel free to use someone like John Q or Pickleball Studio. I don't know, post your favorite reviewer in the comments if you have one.
Please consider liking and subscribing. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year!
So with pricing out of the way, let's move into the specifications of these paddles. You have 3 different shapes, starting with the standard shape. This is the one that I've tested with the most. Comes in at a static weight of 8.1 ounces, a typical length and width of a standard or wide body paddle at 16 inches by 8 inches, grip length of 5.3 inches, swing weight of 109, and a twist weight of 7.3. The swing weight in particular does give you some room to add a little bit of weighting. I elected to add 4 grams at around 3 and 9 o'clock on my paddle during testing. The hybrid Loco takes after the Invader shape from Butter with a static weight of 8 ounces, length and width of 16.2 inches by 7.6 inches, grip length of 5.3 inches, swing weight of 113, and a twist weight of 6.7. And last but not least, you have the elongated Loco, which takes after the Shogun or the Filth in terms of shape. You have a static weight of 7.9 ounces, your typical elongated length and width, a grip length of 5.5 to give you a little bit more room, swing weight of 119, and a twist weight of 6.3. Before we get into it, I just wanted to give a little context as to why I started reviewing paddles. I noticed a lot of other testers out there are at the 4-5 level and higher. And so as a pickleball dad, someone who does a lot of rec play, I am going to make a lot more mistakes than that type of player. And I think understanding how a paddle plays in the hands of someone that's probably closer to your rating, if you're a 3.0 or a 3.5 or a 4.0 out there watching this, might give you a little bit more insight into whether this paddle is actually worth picking up. With that being said, I love that Butter has a 30-day return policy that lets you test out the paddle and decide if you love it. And if you don't, you can always return it. So let's start with the pros of the Loco. For one, this thing has a giant sweet spot. And if you think about a lot of the Gen 4 paddles, I think this is pretty common. One of the things that the foam construction allows seems to be a gigantic area in which to hit the ball. In addition to this, I've been playing with the wide body shape, which just makes it easier. Another thing that really impressed me with the Loco was my serves and my baseline drives. I was a bit intimidated when I picked this paddle up because I assumed that the power within the paddle would result in me hitting a lot of long out balls and not being able to control my serves. However, the amount of spin that you can generate from this really allows you to keep the ball in the court for those types of shots. And in fact, a lot of the strengths that I found really resulted from my third shot drives, where I would either catch my opponent off guard because they were not ready for the pace that I was bringing, or I could set up a 5th shot that was just super easy to get over the court. So in that regard, the power of the Loco is fantastic. The challenges with this paddle really came with my resets and my dinks. This was an area that I really struggled with. And I feel like someone around my level might also run into those challenges. Previously, I've been playing with the Alpha Pro Power by 11624. That one is more of a mid-tier power paddle, and I honestly have no trouble with my short game. My soft game dinks are wonderful. I feel very confident when I'm close to the net. And then I transitioned to the Loco and I felt like I forgot how to play the game. And so I think a lot of that could be improved with just continuing to test, but there were plenty of resets and dinks that I just popped up completely and left my partner out to dry. And that was something that I noticed for about the 10 hours that I tested this paddle. And I think if you're at that 3-5 level, probably a consideration for you is just understanding that when you start to use this paddle, you're going to have to relearn how to hit a soft shot, because I barely felt like I was touching the ball and it was either popping up, or because I didn't put enough power into it, was going straight into the net, and that was really frustrating for me. To recap my thoughts, I think this paddle is fantastic in the right hands. And I think that's the caveat, right? As a 3-5 player myself, I just could not handle my short game. Anything that needed a soft touch, I was really struggling with. However, if you're someone out there who is at the 4-0 and higher level and you feel like you have a really good soft game, I think this can be a wonderful weapon for you to add to your arsenal and test out. I would just say if you're in that 3-0 to 3-5 level, you probably want to consider something with a little bit less power to give you an additional amount of control. It's not to say that you shouldn't test this thing out. Again, there is a 30-day return policy, so you have an opportunity to test it before you decide to keep it. However, I think there might be some other paddles that are better suited for you out there on the market that just have a little bit less power that will also give you a lot more control. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.